Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again. My name is Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. With me this week is, as always, is Jeff Mohr, Chris of Cleveland, Christopher G. Mohr, and we're going to take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Bad Things. That's the title, not a description. Bad Things title. All right, let me show. That meant to be much funnier than it came out. Jeff Mohr, sir, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
I've done
that's
bad
scary.
things.
You've done
I've done
things.
bad things.
Oh God.
That I'm good. I'm good because nobody knows about the bad things I did.
Oh Jesus!
This is getting darker.
That was something. That was
wow.
Fascinating.
All right. There's a book in his feature. All right. Tell all. Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great.
Bad things? Any bad things?
Why would I admit to doing anything bad ever? I am a patron saint of virtue.
There
Can't
you go.
tell?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Clearly.
Saint Crystal.
Oh my gosh. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
There is a Saint Christopher, so.
That's true.
That's true.
He's
not me, though, even though I'm a goody two-shoes.
On a medal.
I'm a cutie guy. I don't know what that means.
Well, you are wearing a Barbie Fangoria tee, so it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Does fit. So you're like a Ken.
I'm made in plastic, so fantastic.
Life in plastic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a great song. It is a fabulous song.
I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm kind of watching the train wreck happen. Let's get one now. All right.
Not a train wreck.
No. Okay. Yeah, all right. But what we're going to do. We're going to review Bad Things for you. We're going to give you our first impressions. Our first impressions will be spoiler free. Then we're going to dive into discussion. That discussion will get into spoilers. There are spoilers to be had here. And then we're going to wrap things up with our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. Oh boy, that's going to be exciting. We hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit the like, subscribe, and share with a friend buttons. Each and every click will help us find more horror fans just like you. Thank you. Let's get down to it and look at the card and rock and roll here. Bad Things 2023. It's going to be available on Shudder and AMC Plus beginning August 18th, 2023. The synopsis is: when a group of friends escape the city to spend the weekend in an abandoned hotel, a pervading eerie energy begins to illuminate the cracks in their little family unit. Yeah. They begin to find themselves inevitably entwined in the hotel's seductive embrace to start doing bad things to each other.
That sounds not the same way as what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah, it's a laugh. Exaggerating.
Did I misexaggerate? That's so
no,
right.
no. I just
written and directed by Stuart Thorndike. The cast includes Gail Recken, Harry Neff, Annabelle, Dexter-Jones, Pereira. Sorry about that. Jared Abramson and Molly Ringwald. Let's just have a slow cut for that, shall we? I love it. All right. That actually made me happy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our first impression, starting off with the one and only Crystal Cleveland. What say you?
So I do love Molly Ringwald in this. She's fabulous and she looks fabulous. So when I first, I knew nothing about this movie going in. So when I first started watching it, I was trying to get my bearings and figure out what is happening here. And it's clearly taking a ton of inspiration from The Shining. Definitely. Like, it took me a little bit to kind of figure it out, but it is very heavily influenced by The Shining, which is fine. I mean, I love The Shining. It's one of my favorite movies. So,
but yeah, we should say that it's Kubrick's Shining that it's influenced by, not the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
The movie.
Just,
the movie.
yeah,
Sorry. Yes, I need to be very clear. The movie. Which I love the movie. So, I didn't mind the characters. I actually liked them. I know I did love Glow, so the lead was fine with me. Honestly, the movie is kind of out there and kind of wild, and it takes a while to figure out what is exactly going on here and who's who and who is related to who and how they're related to whom, and it's it's kind of a slow burn, but it's also it's just trippy. It's some people are not going to like this because I can already see that people would think that it just doesn't work in its form. And I can understand that because the characters and the motivations and what they do is odd and weird, but I think that that's because of the whole weirdness that is this hotel, right? It's a hotel technically.
Motel.
Motel, sure. I don't know the difference between that. But the location is very cold feeling. So, it kind of plays into that whole, and it is winter, so it's cold outside. So there's some of that. I've been trying to process this film because at first I thought, I don't know how I feel about it. But the more I've thought about it, the more I kind of like it more. I did like the performances. I liked all of the actors. I feel like they did a great job in their roles. I was a little, they're just kind of, a lot of them are just kind of jerks. But so if anyone has been in the lesbian community, which I have, it's, oh God, I hate to say that. I hate to say this, but it is not that far off from kind of the way we are with each other. Like the cheating and it's just too bad. So I think that they have a very good pulse and grasp on that. As far as the film, it's not scary to me. It's not spooky, really, like the Shining movie was, but there is something about it that I found enjoyable. And I guess it must be the characters and the way the characters related and how they kind of turned on one another. Do I see the need for improvements? Absolutely. But honestly, I enjoyed it. I know. I don't think everyone else here is going to say they enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. Yeah. So.
Did enjoy it. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Jeff Mohr, sir, what was your first impression of Bad Things?
Well, my first impression was, I think by slow burn, you might mean, Crystal, or at least this is how I'm going to describe it, is it takes I really didn't know what the hell was going on until the end.
Yeah.
There's so many different things and so many different possibilities. So I think the filmmakers and the story and the actors do a good job of laying this out with minimum of 3 possibilities. And it's one of those insanity, or is it insanity or paranormal? And even then, who?
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of creepy because there's places where it's like you didn't know what was real or not, and again, is this an insanity or paranormal? And I thought the actors were good, and the way it turned out, I was cool with that. I enjoyed it. It's hard to say I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
they're uncomfortable characters to be around, and their interactions are uncomfortable, but I could see it, and I thought it was well done, and had a good denouement.
Hey,
something like that.
I like that. Christopher G. Mohr, what is your first impression of Bad Things? Almost got in there.
Or as I call it, the Sheraton Shining.
Oh,
Or if you want to go the more different route, the Continental Breakfast Club.
That's funny. Actually, that's cute.
Because it has
yeah,
Molly
of
Ringwald
course.
and it is a group of people being separated.
And they do have breakfast.
They do. And they have the.
It's a continental breakfast.
That's why I said Continental Breakfast Club. Hence.
I thought you meant with you. I will say I thought you meant the Continental.
No. I meant Continental Breakfast, which is what you have at a hotel. But anyway, I don't want to explain my jokes to Doc.
Oh my God!
Just give him a minute; he'll figure it out. First of all, if you've seen any reviews that I give or my opinion on things, I hate it when the majority of characters are annoying.
Oh my God!
Because then I don't really care about what happens to them. I at least have somebody that I can feel empathy for or feel sympathy for. And I didn't care about any of these characters. And I will say, Crystal, if I really hope that this is not.
Oh, it is.
How people, of the LGBTQ community, I have friends that are definitely not like these people, that are lesbian and trans and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like because every one of these characters are all annoying in different ways. And it made me wonder, it's like, why are these people even friends? Why are they even together? I didn't see any connections between any of the people at all. But there are elements of this film that I do like, I will say it is a very slog. It's a slow burn. It's like the Mission Impossible fuse, and you're just like, okay, how long is this fuse going to go? Is something going to happen? And I think it definitely, like you mentioned, there are actually homages to a lot of different horror properties.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Chainsaw Massacre.
Chainsaw Massacre at the very end. There's a killer with a mask and stuff. So you have like the Jason, Michael Myers elements of it.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then you have the Shining references, although
heavily.
I prefer my interaction with ghosts to not be in a meeting. So, but
I'd rather be in the bar.
Yeah. And so like, I agree with Jeff that like, I'm not really sure what's happening, or because I think it's one of those things that they have the big reveal at the end, and there's a little bit of Psycho in this as well, because the Bates Motel, the owner ran a motel, so you have that element as well. So, and I think the big reveal at the end almost kind of plays into Psycho as well. So you can see that they have a lot of homages stuff, and I will say, and this is probably telling you what my favorite scene is going to be, but I think one of my favorite moments is where it kind of takes the gender roles and switches them, where the guy's running with his shirt down and being chased by a killer. I mean, I was like, I love the change of the gender roles. So I hope that's not being too spoilerish, but I like that. I like the aspect of it to where we have those things. But it's one of those weird things where you're unsure as to what I'm seeing real, or is it in the mindset, or is it a ghost, or is it supernatural, or is this unreliable narrator? I mean, it's like, so I'm not really, and I think the way it plays at the end, I guess it's okay, but it did keep me kind of guessing, because I kept thinking, like, because it is one of those kind of murder mystery like things, like, oh wait a minute, is it somebody a killer, or is it just in the mind, or whatever? But so yeah, I think it has some interesting elements in it, and it's definitely an interesting space. There's some really cool shots involving like these wide shots of people being framed within buildings and stuff. That's really cool. So there's definitely some good cinematography as well. But for me, I didn't find the characters to be entertaining in a good way. They're just annoying. They be very self-involved and very asshole-ish and mean to each other and conniving and like, and it's like, oh man, and those type of instances, it's like I root for the killer because it's like I'm not entertained by these people. So why am I having to focus on these people that are so mean to each other, you know? So anyway, I think it's got some interesting elements. I just think the way that it plays out is definitely not my kind of story when it comes to just characters I do not like.
Yeah. And I'm kind of with you on that. Although I really like this cast, and I like the characters they portrayed, but not everything involving them together works. A lot of it does. I mean, the strained relationship and that part of it, you know, the drama part of it, there are elements of that I was interested in and seeing how it played out. Then when the horror element comes in, the ghosts, if you will, or what's haunting this hotel, it's I'm of two minds, because in one way it's it's interesting, right? It's interesting how matter of fact it is without being supernaturally implied, but yet there's something off by it. Like, you know, the pair of joggers that are just kind of hopping together, you know, which are obviously the twins,
shining twins, yeah.
The shining twins, almost obvious. And then when they're in the room, the continental breakfast room scene, so there's these interesting things that are happening. And I don't know. Would it be fair to say that it needed a better score? Am I wrong there? It needed, you know how The Shining has that score. Like when he walks into the room, you know, the music has this ambiance to it that kind of.
I have to be honest.
Informs
I don't remember the music. I don't remember the music.
Well, there's a lot of pounding and background noise, and I didn't know if that was supposed to be noises in the hotel or. Well, there was like people
running up and down the hallways. You could hear them. You know, there's like weird things, but it just I think if you're going to do The Shining so blatantly, the score, go for the score a little more, because that drives that film so much, and it kind of needed that here. It's like that hallway scene, the scene when she walks in there and the kid's got her weird finger thing going on, which was interesting and subtle, ish. So there's I wanted to like this movie a lot more than I ended up doing, and I don't hate the movie, but there's something about the whole of it, right? There's pieces in here that are really interesting, but the whole of it doesn't necessarily fit together. Maybe there's a puzzle piece or two missing. I don't know. I'm really torn about this movie because I was intrigued, I was invested, but I don't know if I was satisfied.
Well, yeah. I mean, I felt like I was satisfied at the end. And
in the story element of it, but I wasn't satisfied with like elements going, you know, as he went through it. I don't know, but yeah, I agree with you that the ending wrapped everything up nicely. In that way I was satisfied, but I wasn't satisfied with the entire experience.
The ending didn't work that well for me. It's stupid, but
really?
Well, just how it played out, like, oh, I can't get it to start, so I'm just gonna leave this thing for the killer. That was stupid.
Fair. Yeah.
You know that and it's like I feel like when somebody's running with a big thing of machinery, I think that it's two people against one. But anyway, that was just me with logic in my head. Like,
Could I say that because there was all the snow and everything, and she's running with this thing?
I know. I was like, she's gonna slip.
She's gonna fall on it.
Yes, I thought the same thing. I was like,
gonna fall on it.
Well, I think this film has the same problem that The Shining has. She's Jack Nicholson. She's already unstable from the very beginning, so there's no kind of build up to everything, you know.
Well,
but I don't think it necessarily has to be. I mean, the whole point of it is just her to be unstable, so that you call question to that, but at the same time, it's like, well, just because she's unstable doesn't make her what's happening in this place. But
well, the hotel is unstable too. Like the reason, I don't like unreliable narrators, but I didn't feel like it. The reason why I do like the Shining movie, and I'm good with this one, is because I feel like it's not an unreliable narrator, it's an unreliable place, because everyone is having their own experiences and stuff, and I think that's helpful, because when one person does it, it just super bothers me. But
I didn't find the location like, okay, so I know what they were going for, and the location is so, that the juxtaposition of its normalcy being empty and everything and cold, makes it spooky, but I didn't feel that. Like, there's something very spooky about, the hotel in The Shining, but I didn't really get that here.
Well,
as much as far as atmosphere.
Well, one thing I do want to point out.
Jeff disagrees.
Well, and I feel like I feel like that one
more,
the one girl's reaction was just like over the top and annoy me. And then at the same time, I felt like a lot of the interactions with the people felt kind of improvised, like stuff they did on the moment. So I think a lot of it didn't feel as scripted, I guess, but not. So there was moments where it's like, I felt like they just had the camera on and people need to be interacting and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of those places, even abandoned buildings, it doesn't necessarily have to be lit like a Suspiria to be creepy. And just big empty buildings can be creepy in general. So I
think that this is supposed to be like the back rooms, liminal spaces.
Yeah.
And I think that is creepy. I think that works. I mean, it's not quite, it's not, but it's like a place that shouldn't be empty, but it is. So it does have a different feel from the Shining Hotel. It's not as grand, but I feel like there's something about this that worked, but yeah.
Jeff, you're on mute. We can't hear a word you're saying.
Oops.
I understand now. I don't think it's that, I don't remember who said it, but somebody said, if you're going to do The Shining, you should do the music. That was Doc.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't think they're doing The Shining. They set it in a hotel, but I don't think, can those, are the joggers supposed to be like the twin girls? I don't know. I don't think that's necessary. What I got out of it was, I stayed in a hell of a lot of hotels from, I don't know, for like 15 years. And I would go and stay in them for like 5 nights. I'd go work at the place, stay in the hotel 5 nights, didn't know anybody else there except a few of the people at the place I was going to work. So all the time I'm going back to a hotel. There's nobody there I know. But the idea of being in a completely empty hotel is creepy. Something about walking down those hallways,
spaces,
and knowing, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that's what that I know that's what you meant. And I'm kind of trying to reinforce that. Well, and the other thing is the conference room where they had that one scene in the big round table.
Yes.
Oh my God!
I think that was creepy too.
Oh, that didn't work for me.
Horrifying. They had those horizontal stripes on the side, and I just was like, oh my God, somebody somewhere thought this was like a great business design or something. And it just was, it was just the stripes. I don't know what it was, but the room, I'm like going, I've been in rooms like that when nobody else was in there. And
it's uneasy. It makes you feel uneasy, right?
Yeah. So that, all that stuff got me. And then the rest of it is, we have, and we're spoiling, I guess.
Yeah, we're deep in spoilers. Yeah.
We've got these 4 main characters, and we have ideas that 2 of them are severely whacked, in one way or another. They're either seeing ghosts, or they're crazy, or they're having hallucinations from drugs, whatever the hell it is. The other 2 are fairly normal as far as their psyche, it seems to me. So the and you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, we know that Ruthie is working through some major problems with her mom, and it's created, you know, she doesn't want to be there. I don't know. I just didn't get, you know, you keep comparing it to The Shining, and I just don't think it's that comparative. You know, I mean, you got the two women, you're in a hotel. Hotel is so totally different. This is an urban hotel. And she's not there to cure herself. Nobody's gone there to cure themselves. They've gone there to supposedly sell the.
Might debate you on that.
Bullshit.
No, she had a history. She has a history that there's a whole thing she's going there to deal with. I mean, that's another.
No, she's just going to.
There's one specific room that they don't go into the whole time, just like The Shining.
But she didn't go there to deal with that.
Well, she has more to deal with the.
Well, Jack Torrance goes to the hotel.
Well, you're talking about. Yeah, but you're talking about the story. I'm just talking about the homages to all those specific elements of The Shining. Like when she hugs the Molly Ringwald character, that's straight out of when he hugs the woman that comes out of the bathtub. It's like the joggers, they're always together, you know. Mm-hmm. There's that one specific room, just like 223 in The Shining. So there's homages. I'm not saying I wouldn't say it's the same type of story, but I'll just say I think there's definitely homages to The Shining throughout.
So yeah, even the room when the last time you see Molly Ringwald is like the guy with the bear, the guy with the rabbit suit or whatever, the bear suit.
So
maybe not as graphic.
So I'd be really interested. I'm going to look for interviews with this director, because to me, an homage is something that's intentional, and I'm not convinced it's intentional.
I saw it all.
I can't see
how. Oh my God! If it's not intentional,
then this person is.
Then they
most coincidental filmmaker in the history of filmmakers.
Crazy.
I'm not saying another word.
There might be legal action if it's
or
not.
I'll regret it. I truly will.
But the character is definitely dealing with baggage with this place. I mean, she's familiar with it, and you know, her mom has a room there, and you know, she has problems with her mom. There's a lot of baggage they're dealing with. Maybe it's not, you know, being drunk like Jack Torrance, but it's the same.
No.
There's things.
Jack Torrance isn't dealing with any baggage at the hotel. He's dealing with his own baggage.
His own baggage, right? And she is too. But anyway, another point that I have is that her familiarity with the hotel pulled away some of the mystery of the hotel away from me because of the context of that. And I got the impression that at least her girlfriend character, that they were familiar with it as well. Maybe not the other two, but even then, you know, they didn't seem like they were in a strange place. You know, it felt that it was a familiar place until you start seeing, you know, strange kids in the one room and bouncing people outside, jogging in a very strange way. So that pulled me out of the suspense of the location.
Not me.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's subjective. So, but yeah, I wish it hadn't me. I still like that's one thing. I'm still fighting with. I'm of two minds, you know, because there's a lot to like in this movie. The performances of themselves, the actresses, the direction is interesting. The choices, some of them are really strong. Not all of them, but strong enough throughout. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anybody want to say one last thing before we go to our closing thoughts here?
I think this movie, everyone's going to have different thoughts about it. I definitely think it could be pretty polarizing. I mean, mm-hmm. I could defend it or not, but I can also see, you know, how people could not enjoy it. It just matters whether it resonates with you or not.
Yeah, and I think it's all according to what. Again, it's subjective. It's all according to the type of stuff you like, and mm-hmm. also what you're going into it thinking about the characters and that kind of stuff. I mean, for me, I think that my one main takeaway is that it feels like a contemporary thing that pays homage to all these horror things without, you know. And I will say that I thought the visual of the sleep apnea mask
Oh my
The hoodie
god!
was
Yes,
actually
I
a cool
forgot about
was
that.
a
That's
cool
so
look for a
funny.
killer. And I kind of
Yeah.
wish we had more of that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that was
Because I
funny.
feel like yeah, we were harping on like the Shining stuff, but yeah, but I think I did love those little homages that you could recognize if you're a horror lover, but it doesn't take away from it. It just shows you in a different type of perspective, kind of like
Mhm.
the sort of contemporary takes on slasher films or supernatural films, and with a new setting and a new group of people that aren't the normal types of people you see in a lot of horror films. Because most of your horror films back in the day are just mostly just all straight people
Yeah.
hanging out together. So I think it definitely shines in that respect. But yeah, I think this will be kind of there'll be people who like it, people don't like it, and so
Mhm.
They shine. All right, let's go ahead. Oh, that joke. All right, Crystal, your score and your favorite scene.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 3.
Nice.
And my favorite scene, it was totally the Chainsaw Massacre. Obviously. I mean, there's actually quite a few scenes I could name, but I laughed at that. I was like, is she ever gonna actually make it there and do it? I mean, come on. And then
Yeah.
So
Did you like at the end when she walks away, like there's other people in the parking lot and they have no idea what's going on?
One pushing a baby.
I know. It was like,
Yeah.
it's just like, that was so funny. It was like,
it's super weird.
The
But I also
juxtaposition between the horror and the normalness, right?
Right before that, though, when she walks through and then everything starts to make sense. Mm-hmm. Mommy's busy right
now. Jeff, what is your score and favorite scene?
I'm going 3.5, and I will take the discovery of the mother.
There you go.
The one girl. I can't remember the character's name, but yes.
The actress is rad. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
Rad Pereira. Yeah.
Yep. All right, I like that scene too. I could have picked that. That could have been a scene. Christopher, your score and favorite scene. Why am I doing Foster Brooks? I don't know, but let's go.
Been drinking some red rum. I will give this a 3. And as for favorite scene, I think I mentioned it earlier. I love the juxtaposition of that normal scene of where it's normally the woman and shirts falling off of her, being chased by a killer, and just to see like a female killer chasing after a guy. It's like, ah! He's even screaming, very girlish in general. And I guess I shouldn't have laughed, but I was like, I kind of like that. I was like, I love that the gender switch on this. I was like, I want to see more of that. So yeah, that was probably my favorite scene.
Yep. Yeah, I like that too. I'm actually going to pick a scene very close to that. So, I'm going to give it a 3.5, which is the equivalent of 3 for Crystal, because it's harder for her to get to the higher, but she won't do the 5s as awesome as we do. So I mean, it's a good film. It's worth watching, even if for me as a whole it doesn't quite ring all the bells. But at the same point, what is going to be my favorite scene? It's real close to what Christopher chose, but it's earlier. And he's walking around, he's carrying this potted plant for some reason. And he's walking around, he's trying to find people, and he sees way down the hall the hooded person with the chainsaw, right? And it's not roaring or anything, it's just a person holding a chainsaw. And he goes, he doesn't say it, but he goes, nope. And he walks back out the door. And I just love that reaction, because it was like, he doesn't run, he doesn't scream yet. He just kind of goes,
what thing doesn't belong? Right.
He turns around and goes, I'm going that way.
I'm sorry, but I didn't say this. I know somebody mentioned, but Molly Ringwald was awesome.
She was great.
Really good.
Yeah. I'm going to point out another scene, because it's one of the few scenes that aren't in the vicinity or inside the hotel. They take the girl back to the train station.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And she wakes up all alone. But it's shot from overhead, right when it says everybody has to get on the train, and she kind of wakes up and she realizes that she's alone. But it feels so strange and not real. even though
Mhm.
we've learned that it actually is real. Because like one guy's standing there, but he's not moving, and there's not a whole lot of people, and she's like frantic, and it's a really well crafted scene that has a lot more going on than what she's saying at the moment.
When they're walking up to her, they're like, to like take her, they're so creepy. I think some of the stuff's
and then they're so happy when they get back and they're partying, and she's
like,
gone.
yeah,
I can't believe we left her. Yay.
Well, the girl never should have brought her. She shouldn't have brought her. What is yeah.
So true.
That's
true.
just the thing. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there you go. That's our review of Bad Things. It is playing on Shudder, so you have no excuse. Go watch it and let us know what you think about it in the comments down below. It's one to make you think, I think.
Yes.
Not to be redundant, but
it has some really interesting elements, that's for sure.
All right. Jeff, Crystal, Christopher, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it was.
Excellent. All right, let's go. Let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good evening.
Hi.
Gruesome Magazine.